Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. The Justice of Kings is a new epic fantasy release by Orbit and I was kindly sent this copy for review. I'm just going to quickly go over the plot, the things that I liked, the things that I felt could have been improved upon, and then just my overall sort of rating and thoughts. So the plot of The Justice of Kings is that you are following our main POV character, Helena, and she is the assistant to Conrad von Volt, who is a justice, and they travel around the countryside of this big empire, meting out justice and reviewing cases and helping the populace with any disputes. And that is their job, to travel around enforcing the law. And you follow Helena as the point of view character as she narrates her story and her life and her adventures with Conrad von Volt, who is this justice. And then the main crux of the story revolves around them arriving into a town where a murder has happened and then following this murder investigation and seeing what happened, who did it, the consequences of this murder, alongside a rising rebellion or opposing force to the rule and this very religious cult and their uprising against the empire and against von Volt and the justice system. So that's like the plot in a nutshell, if you will. There's a lot more going on than that, but that is just the beginnings of it. So the aspects that I really liked the female perspective and the way that she looks back on events. It's written in this way that she is an older woman looking back on the events of her life, and so you sort of see her future self narrating it and looking back going, oh, I don't know why I made those decisions, or I was very naive back then. And I really liked how the book was centered around her as a central figure. Going in, I thought it was going to be very much focused on Conrad von Volt, the justice, and that made me a little bit nervous because in my head, I don't know if it was just me that has associated this with the greatcoats, but I had associated with the greatcoats and I wasn't a massive fan of the greatcoats. So I think going in thinking that it was going to be so focused around Conrad von Volt, and it is, I mean, he is the protagonist in some ways, but I really liked how we were told his story through the eyes of his female assistant and how she was the focus. In general, I liked the writing style and the pacing of the story. I was always engaged in it. I felt like it was for the story, I thought it was a good length. I felt there was always something going on. It didn't feel too fast paced. It felt like we got the world building in a very digestible manner. So I think that the writing and the pace of it was very well done. And overall, I did like the cast and the characters. I mean, I already spoke about how I really liked Helena as a main character, but I also liked the other supporting cast members. I liked seeing Conrad von Volt as the justice. I liked seeing the priest who is the sort of antagonistic force in this Clay. I mean, I hated him. I think that the cast was very well done, and I did also really like some of the themes that are explored within the book. The themes of like religion and power and justice, how justice is meted out. Like, should one person be able to make the decision for a whole town, and how justice is done, and how the justices have so much power and sway within this ruling empire, which brings on to like the world building. And the world building I liked. We're told that prior to the events of this book that we are within this empire that has been expanding, and there have been lots of wars that have gone on, and lots of other countries have been incorporated now into this larger empire. And I think I would have liked a bit more exploration on that. I feel like it could happen in later installments in the series, but I would have liked a little bit more on this world building. But I do think it was a really interesting setup where we are following this empire that has expanded and seeing, I guess, the teething issues of that and the struggles that it is now going through as other countries have adjusted and are continuing to adjust to this new empire and there's this new rule, and how that affects them. My critiques, I would say, is that there is a romance in the book and I wasn't a fan of the romance. I felt like it was very abrupt and insta-lovey. It just felt like it came a bit out of nowhere. We do get Helena from I guess when she's writing this in the present, when she's looking back and she's like, well, I was very naive, I was very just wanting for love, but it did feel very, very abrupt to me and just a little bit unbelievable. I was a bit like, oh, okay, right, we're suddenly together. So that would be my critique, that the romance just feel very, very abrupt. And I don't quite know what I wanted from the mystery of this murder mystery, but it did feel a little bit like it was the obvious path, that there wasn't some big twist or reveal. And I quite like a twist, but it wasn't really very twisty in the answers that it gave. I mean, that's not like a big critique. It's not like I was disappointed in who did it. I just really like twists. And there isn't really a twist in this. It's sort of, you can sort of see the path that it's going down. Overall, I think it was a very solid start to a fantasy trilogy. And I am definitely intrigued to see where it goes next. Yeah, so I think it's a very solid start, but I don't think it's a new favourite for me. I think for me, this is like a 3.5 4-star book, so I think it's very solid. I think there is definitely growth to improve, because I did really like the writing style and the pace. There were just those sort of a few elements that brought it down for me, and yeah, it just didn't give me like the 5-star feeling. But I feel like as the series goes on, it could definitely get there. Yeah, especially if we get more exploration of the world and the world building and where we're going from here. I feel like in this first book, we're very focused around this one case and this one instance going on, but there's a lot more that could be going on in the wider world. And I feel like now that we've had this more insular look into the beginning of the story, I'm hoping that now into the rest of the series this will expand and we will get a much wider view of this world. And I feel like that I'm going to really, really enjoy and really, really love exploring. So those are my thoughts on the Justice of Kings. Have you read this book? Are you planning to pick this book up? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my future videos. Bye!